Okay, for the brand of car question, when we look at this, again, we will define variables. This time, the two things that we will be looking at are the miles and how much the car costs per mile driven. And our two equations are we are comparing two types of cars. One that has a regular engine and one that has a fuel-injected engine. With the regular engine, we are told that the purchase of it costs $21,500. And on average, it costs 32 cents per mile to operate. So when I set this up, my cost per mile is 32 cents. It's 0.32 cents X plus the total purchase price of $21,500. Now for the second equation, per mile it costs 29 cents per gallon, and the asking price, my B, my y-intercept, the beginning, is 22,500. Again, for this problem, we're going to be using the graphing method just due to all the steps involved in the question. Again, I'm not going to go through every single one for you, so make sure that you complete this question in your journals that I'm not doing for you. What I want you to notice now is it asks you to calculate the cost of operating each vehicle for 1,000, 10,000, and 50,000 miles. On our last question, we were looking at the new freezers. We were looking at it in months, and I suggested going to your graphing calculator and looking at the table. On this question, we could also do this. Type this into your graphing calculator in Y1 and Y2, and then go into the table. However, you would be scrolling down a whole lot if you want to know what 1,000, 10,000, and 50,000 miles is. There is a shortcut with the calculator that I can show you in class of how to make that a little bit easier looking at your table. But it might also be just as fast if you, in the calculator, if you just type in 0.32, multiply it by 1,000, and then add 2150 to it. When you get that answer, that's your first one. Then for the second one, do the same thing. 0.32, this time it's 10,000 miles. Still adding 2150 to it. In other words, for every question that we're asked, we're putting it in the place of X and getting a value for our cost. And then you keep doing that. You would do the same thing here on this equation. That's actually faster to answer question B than doing some steps in the calculator using the table, in my opinion. However, if you'd like to see how you can use your calculator for shortcuts, I can show you that during class time as well. So you're going to want to answer those questions. Next, plot the graph in your journal, and then on letter D, it talks about the break-even point, just like we did on the new freezer question. So again, remember what we talked about in class about the point of intersection, an ordered pair, an X, Y, where the two lines intersect. So you'll be looking for that. Again, we're looking at some big numbers when we do the math here. So when you're using your calculator to find that, you might need to change your window. Again, if you have any further questions on this, you can ask me in this in class.